daylight. Welcome to Burning Daylight, the only podcast for the working cowboy. Well, welcome back, Daylight Burners. I hope your Monday treated you well. But this is the Friggin Farm and Ranch Report for Tuesday, March 24th, 2026. Son of a bitch. Got a little tickle in my throat. Today's report, we got futures and cash cattle, slaughter beef, input costs, particularly on the diesel side. We got drought and range review. We got a freedom framework, which is something that I've incorporated into a little project that I'm working on. Hopefully, I'll be able to roll it out pretty soon, but it's kind of cool. I think you guys will like it. And then I need to find a better name for this underreported story, but it's a segment that I'm going to add to this farm and ranch report that we've got going on here. And today it kind of centers around diesel, and then we've got to close it out on this day in history. Live cattle futures for March 23rd closed out 234 to 235. Up 32 to 125 on the day. They traded from roughly 235 to 233 to 235, and finished near the high end of that day's range, of today's range. So, for example, October live cattle contract finished around 229, and that was up from roughly 227 at the end of last week. Nearby fats were around 235, up over a little over a buck, closing pretty close to near the high of the day. Feeder cattle, Chicago feeder cattle contracts across the board finished 70 cents to 237 higher on the day. Nearby feeders around the upper 340s to the high 350s. Up around that. Excuse me. Up around 0.5% on the day, 0.5, 0.7. March feeders last week were around 356 to 358. With that contract up 2.5 on the day. National Beef Wire lists March at 357.75, up 248, call it. So the intraday trading anywhere from 351 to 356 on a typical day. 320 on the low side, into the 370s on the high side. So we're kind of right in the middle of that. Yeah, March feeders landed around 358, 2.5 on the day, trading the upper half of the range of the last month. All right, moving on to the corn. Chicago Board of Trade verified closed 1.5 to 6 cents lower across most contracts. National average cash corn price was about $4.18 a bushel, down 6 cents on the day. 1 month futures low around $4.24, and a high close on $4.59 on the March chart. Corn has recently posted its highest close since June. Earlier in March, and so today was Monday was a little bit of a pullback from that. Down a few cents, still in the upper portion of last month's range, though. Cash cattle. Latest 5 area negotiated fed cattle trade is live cattle at 235, 236 in the north, and about 235 in the south. Dressed about 370. Bum bum bum. Okay, cash 370 dressed. Okay. So the feeder index holding in the low 360s. On the slaughter and beef production side, February cattle slaughter was about 7% lower than last year, and the beef production was about 4% lower year over year. The heavier carcass weights are partially offset the lower head count, but total beef tonnage was still below a year ago. That's not what I'm looking at. Recent AMS reports cattle slaughter is running below both last week and last year. Latest beef cutout ballpark was choice box beef around $400 a hundredweight, and select is just under $393, so about $7.20 a hundredweight, $7.20 a hundredweight on the choice select spread. On the input side, diesel price is high on highway diesel. National average is about 507 a gallon. Surging in March with a sharp week over week increase, almost entirely driven by the the Strait of Hormuz and the Iran war. The EIA's 2020 or 2026 outlook had diesel averaging in the low $4 a gallon range. The current 507 level is about $1 a gallon above what they had forecast, which is that's neat. On the interest rate side, there was no new Fed rate decision on March. On the last Fed chair meeting, they didn't do anything. So the rates remain high relative to most of the last decade, keeping operating and land borrowing costs elevated. Moving on to the drought and range conditions, the U.S. Drought Monitor map as of mid-March. So this was published on the 18th and 19th. Large share of the U.S. in some level of drought from D0 to D4. The coverage has been described as widespread. There has been some improvement, though. The Ohio Valley and parts of the Mississippi Valley have seen some of that drought ease after the early March storms. Some persistent drought in the southern Great Plains and portions of the southeast remain in severe D2 and extreme D3 drought. Localized exceptional drought or D4 pockets in and around the Florida-Georgia line region. And I remember talking to what's his name, Bennett Kirk. I think he's maybe graduated high school by now. He was like eighth grade when I talked to him back in the day. But they were talking about a drought down there, and they just get such a massive amount of rainfall compared to everywhere I've lived, that it's hard to imagine what a drought looks like for them. But anyways, exceptional drought pockets in the Florida, Georgia region. And so then on the fire and grass risk, the Ohio, Mississippi Valley improvements support a much better early season soil moisture and spring forage prospects. The southern plains and southeast drought implies early season wildfire risks and likely below normal grass production if it persists. All right, so then this is the freedom framework, and so it's the market regulation kind of snapshot. On the market structure and packer concentration, beef packing remains highly concentrated, as we know. A few large packers handle most of the fed cattle slaughter. The big four with 80 or 85% of the total beef slaughter. And with the slaughter numbers and the overall beef production below a year ago, and the cash cattle trades in the mid 230s, these packers are walking a pretty tight line between, they're working with a real tight supply, and and then you got the JBS strike, which is still, it's like on day 11 or something. That's still going on. And the slaughter numbers, it shows that they have dipped, even if it is slightly. It's it's kind of it's a really weird situation going on right now in the cattle markets, and that Greeley strike has a lot to do with it. I never heard back from anybody really from that I reached out to, except for Bill Bullard from from RCAF USA, and I've talked a little trash on Bill back in the day, and I kind of stand by most of it, honestly. But I do respect the guy. I think he does solid work. He's incredibly effective for with the limited resources that he has, and he's a good man, true to his word. So I respect the hell out of him, even though we do disagree on a lot of stuff. But I'm also kind of coming around to the tune that he's been marching to for a while. So, anyways, that reminds me, I need to text him tomorrow. He's in DC, and so I'm looking forward to hearing what he has to say about what's going on and what he's got going on while he's there. There's been no new real ag specific mandates in the last couple days on the federal level. The farm bill discussions and arguments over reference prices and conservation and nutrition are ongoing, and there's no clear breakthrough on anything going through at the moment there. Typical Washington. It fascinates me how we can be engaged in a hot war with boots on the ground probably imminent. I hope not, but they have two Marine Expeditionary Units headed to the Straits of Hormuz and that region as we speak. Trump did say that he was delaying the bombing of the power plants for another 5 days or something like that. So we'll see how long it is until Israel bombs something else to escalate it. But that's for another show. But it's it's amazing how you can have all that going on, but they can't figure out how to fund DHS. They can figure out how to spend a ton of money, but the farm bill is not one of them. So they're just gonna kick that down the road. Who the hell knows what's going on with that? And then so the freedom framework, they say the market distortion is a medium. Packer concentration is I don't know what they said there. Packer concentration and diesel/freight driving margins more than exchange rules. Okay. So okay. So it's medium. Market distortion is medium because it's the Packer concentration and the diesel and freight increases that are driving margins more than the exchange itself. On the regulatory drag, there's not really any new. And then voluntary versus forced. Most pain is price driven, not regular driven, not regulatory driven at the moment. Should have proofread that slide a little bit more before I put it up, but it's all right. We're working through this. We'll get there. And you're on this journey with me. Okay, so on to the underreported story, the diesel versus cattle. So the national on-highway diesel's $5.07 a gallon. Live cattle is at $2.35. Feeders around 340s to 350s. Up 70 cents to $2.40 on the day. The live cattle were up about $1.25. And diesel has moved sharply higher in recent weeks. And now it sits about a gallon above the forecasted annual average. Live cattle and feeder cattle have been trending higher, but the daily percentage moves are pretty small compared to the multi-week percentage surge in diesel prices. I mean, huge increases, and so that's kind of one of the underreported stories in the ag world is it's the cattle prices and the Packer concentration, but in the cattle world, a lot of Trump fans, a lot of Trump supporters, and a lot of people don't want to address the egg on their face by this Iran deal, but it is really putting people in a tight spot, and particularly on the diesel and the fertilizer side, and that at the moment is driving. So that's what they're saying with that. That's kind of where most of the pain is being felt right now, because cattle prices are pretty good, but the amount of increase in the diesel and fertilizer prices has jumped so much more than what to outpace the good cattle prices that we're seeing right now, and that's kind of the underreported trend that I've heard on my end from the people that I listen to and the research that I've been doing as I started this little segment back up. So, on this day in history, March 24th in 1882, the tuberculosis bacterium discovery. Robert Koch announces the discovery of tuberculous bacterium, Mycobacterium tuberculosis. It helped what did he say, that spur the study of like the germ theory, I guess, is what it really it helped kick off some huge leaps in knowledge when it came to germ theory back in 1882. In 1989, the Exxon Valdez oil spill happened. As the Exxon Valdez, a huge oil tanker, runs aground on Bligh Reef in the Prince William Sound up in Alaska. Estimated spill of about 11 million gallons of crude oil, making it one of the largest oil spills in U.S. history. In 1999, NATO conducted airstrikes on Yugoslavia, the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia, over Kosovo. And this was the first major NATO operation against a sovereign state without explicit UN Security Council authorization. And March 24th, 2026 is National Ag Day, with the 2026 theme of Together We Grow, organized by the Agriculture Council of America to recognize agriculture's role in the U.S. economy, food supply, and rural communities. And yeah, so close it all out. Live cattle were up. We're closed out about 235, up $1.25. Feeders were in the upper 340s to high 350s, up 70 cents to 240 on the day. March 26th are around the March feeders around 358, up 2.5. Cash cattle fats traded at 235, 236 in the north and 235 in the south, with dressed coming in at about 370. Corn futures down 1.5 to 6 cents. National corn averaging about 4.18 a bushel, down 6 cents on the day. Diesel coming in at 5.07 a gallon, hammering that point. Mr. Ayatollah, open this straight. I should have done that. And Mr. Ayatollah, open the straight. You got to do it. We don't want to do the war. We're not in a war, but we're gonna go expedition even harder, like you'd never seen before. Drought widespread, improvement somewhat on the eastern side of the country, but out here in the west, it's dry and looking to stay that way for the near future. And that has been the Friggin' Farm and Ranch Report for March 24th, 2026. Thanks everybody for tuning in. If you'd like to catch all the notes and the transcripts and everything, please go over to burnindaylight.substack.com. That's BURNIN.substack.com. Make sure you go follow me on all the social media channels. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, blah, 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 blah. You get the drill. But please go do so. And if you like what I'm putting out, please share it around. Tell your friends, and I look forward to letting you in on what I've got cooking here in the near future. So on that note, move your ass. We're burning daylight.
Your eyes up in the morning, beneath the stars so bright. Pull your hat down, make sure your cinch is tight. Horses kinda snuffy, cold chill up your spine. We'll get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight. Burning daylight. Burning daylight. In the saddle till the job's done right. Burning daylight. Well, life is just a gather, and you won't catch 'em all. But when you ride through the gate, make sure you sit up tall. I can see the horizon, it's looking pretty bright. Well, get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight. Burning daylight. Burning daylight. In the saddle till the job's done right.